two, one. Just kidding. Hi, guys. Thanks so much for coming to the podcast today.
Hi, thanks for inviting us.
The
Yeah,
pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us.
thanks so much. Will you, Bill, introduce yourself?
Oh, well, you just said my name. So Bill Murphy is who I am. I'm probably well known for a number of different television broadcasts where I've been a TV host, but I've been a paranormal researcher for much longer than that. All of the shows that I've done and all of the story producing I've done have all been paranormal in nature, and
Every single one?
every single one.
Wow. Oh my God. That's so cool. Congratulations. Is there any you wouldn't, or you could list for the listeners, if you will?
Well, if I don't name Johns, he's probably gonna give me the hairy eyeball.
Okie
Um,
dokie.
but the Ghost Rider case is really enduring. And there's another one called Nightcrawler, which is it's a cryptid, and they're very odd looking, and there's multiple videos of them, and so it's
Wow.
just like a head with like it looks like two legs coming out where a neck would be, and
That's,
they seem to wander around Fresno.
oh
And
God.
when people capture them on video, they're always heading north to this wooded area, and that's where we track them down.
Do
But
you do you believe these types of creatures to be like interdimensional or ancient earth dwellers or aliens? What's your vibe on that?
I think your second suggestion is probably the most accurate, because when we started tracking them down with thermal cameras, because it was at nighttime, um, they were fairly fast. They walked kind of slow, but they were able to
Ew.
move fairly fast, and they stayed in the tree line. And we were able to track them to a small lake where the tracks went into the lake. So it's almost like they're amphibious. So I would think they'd be indigenous to Earth and maybe more prevalent in Fresno, since that's where a number of the videos have come out.
How,
It,
how
it,
close how close is Fresno to Mount Shasta? Is it not close at all?
mm, I think it's fairly close. I'd have to look at a map to be sure, because I've been to so many places. Geography for me kind of gets scrambled.
Oh, I know what you mean. And would you like to introduce yourself, please, to us?
My name is John Huckert. I'm not really known for anything. I'm an independent guerrilla filmmaker. I've
Cool.
made a lot of films that no one's heard of. I've done a bunch of Roger Corman films that some people have heard of.
Cool.
Uh, and I happen to live in the Ghost Rider house that I think some people have heard about that. And Bill approached us many years ago, and like we don't usually do very many shows, but Bill became a friend and I trusted him. So I've done shows with Bill pretty much exclusively, actually, I think, right, Bill?
Wow.
Can't think of, I haven't done a
Yeah.
show without you in a very, very long time.
That's so sweet.
So, well, he's very transparent, very honest, and he's not out to get anything. Like so many shows, like when we would first agree to it, we would only do a show if they agreed to bring something to helping us find out about what's going on in our house.
Oh, cool.
And because the whole key is to get to the root of what's happening.
Right.
Um, and when a show just wants to come in and exploit it, we don't let them do that. So
That's
Bill
cool.
always seemed very genuine about helping us figure out what's going on, and we've become really close friends since then.
That's cool. Bill's in my um my time as friends with Bill has also been filled with trust and uh
Yeah,
only good intentions from my experience.
right.
Um well, thank you for introducing yourselves. I guess this is a different setup than usual for our podcast. I'm excited to see how this works out. We've never had two humans. It's generally only been one, and Usually, usually I talk to them about um why they're our heroes, and then they tell us if they agree or not. But in this case, I think it would be prudent and essential for you guys to just tell us the story. I think we need to just start with the story. uh I think that's the best place to start. Please.
Bill, you want to start?
Gladly. Well, first off, thank you for the confirmation that we are indeed human.
Yeah,
Um,
Yes.
yeah.
and but I actually want to dive into that statement a little bit, like what
Okay.
is human? Because we perceive human to be this dense physical matter, when in fact there's multiple forms that humans take. So it's you're familiar with astral travel, and that's something you don't have to be asleep for. You can do astral travel while you're wide awake, and that's a less dense physical form, and allows you to go places and experience things that those that maybe are not practiced are able to. They wouldn't be able to see these things.
And do you practice astral projection?
Oh, absolutely.
Can you explain uh the process, or anything you'd like to share about astral projection with people that may not know much about it?
Um,
Because I will say, sorry, I have been hearing a lot of negativity toward, like, I've been seeing headlines of things saying the negative side of astral projection, the dark side of astral projection. I would like you, Bill, to set the record straight. Why do we need astral projection? Why do we enjoy it? And what can we gain from it? And how do you do it?
Well, to your first statement, there is a negative side to it, and but it's associated with your dense physical body, and it's associated with ego. So if a person is selfish and has ill intentions, then their astral self will reflect that. And if a person has good intentions, then their astral self will have better experiences. They will become less dense, and the less dense you become, the more materials that you can pass through. You can pass through anything, and you're also able to take flight if you wish, um, leave leave the solar system, leave the Milky Way galaxy, explore the outer bands of our universe, which that's a difficult concept when you think the universe actually has boundaries to it, but it apparently does. It can be measured because it's still expanding, and so you can measure the background radiation. So it is growing. So I'm always wondering what's on the outside of the universe. So um, those negative aspects of astral travel um, is something that people have to understand and accept, and live your life the best way you can through honesty, uh, aligning yourself with others, cutting ties with those that are negative or pulling you in the wrong directions that are not healthy. Um, all this is moving a bit away from the topic of this this broadcast right now, which is the Ghost Rider case. But since you are asking about travel, I shared that with you. A simple exercise somebody can do is sit in your comfort zone. It may just be your quiet spot in your little sacred space in your room, and imagine yourself getting up and walking through the door and leaving the building, and even leaving and going to another location. I tried this the other day because there's a CVS that's open 24 hours across the street from me, and I was having a very vivid astral experience, and I wanted to see if I could accomplish this. And when I went into the CVS, the cashier at the desk, she, her, the direction of her eyes looked in the direction where I was perceiving, because I don't
Cool.
have eyes in the astral plane, but I can view. And she looked at me with surprise. I don't want to say terror, but it looked like she saw something that she didn't want to see. Maybe she thought she saw a wispy ghost for a moment. And then I zoomed back home, and there I was here. So it was a successful but brief astral venture that I did while awake. And it can appear similar to lucid dreaming, but it's not lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming, you can also go astral. But that's a whole other larger topic.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. Have you, not to bring it farther away again, but have you fellows been having extraordinarily vivid dreams lately? So-
Um, yeah, I did, because I practice it every single week, multiple times. And my goal is always to create my own environment, because once you realize that you are in a dream, it becomes a construct, and you can build it any way you want. So this was almost a hybrid location, because I wanted to leave Earth again. But in order to leave Earth, I was in this underground bunker that didn't appear to be of my own creation, but I was able to come weightless, and I was able to fly very quickly. But I had to go down these hallways, and it was filled with people. And I zipped down these hallways. I went up staircases, and I was finally able to exit the building. And once I hit treetop level, then I know that I do have complete control, and then I can manipulate anything, change my own physical form. I can become fire. I can become a form of a gaseous substance. I can become sparkly if I choose to. I can become not visible. I can just become a series of streaks, and move faster than the speed of light. In other words, instantaneously go from point A to point B. The reoccurring portion that I believe is what you asked about is that in a far point of the universe as we understand the universe to be, um, there's this silver sphere. And when I first noticed it, it's like a bright point of light. It looks like a tiny drop of mercury. But I move so fast, I approach it, and it's the largest object in the entire universe. And
Cool.
it looks like liquid mercury, and I've been tempted to plow right into it, but I'm a bit fearful. I don't know if it represents mortality or if it contains information of past, present, and future, because it does appear to have
Interesting.
information of everything. Everything is
Cool.
contained in this sphere, but I haven't had built up the nerve to enter it yet.
Wow, that's so cool. I've not heard that um of this object or place before. That's really, really cool. Awesome. Um, thank you for sharing that. Um, but do you, and that's typical for your dreaming.
It's a reoccurring experience because I am manifesting it. I want to go to this place, even though I always stop short of entering it. It doesn't appear to be solid. I don't know what the consistency of it
I,
actually
I
is.
I understand what you mean by Mercury. I think I have an understanding intellectually. I can't understand emotionally, but intellectually, I think I know what you're talking about. That's really cool. And it doesn't sound that far out to me. It sounds, I understand what you're saying. That's really neat. I want you to interact with it when you feel safe.
Hey, Bill, what would happen if you did enter it?
Well, the two scenarios that I mentioned, one is I don't know if I go in, if I enter it, if I'm entering a realm that I will be so blissful that I will never leave or never be allowed to leave. I may completely lose my physical self altogether and not able to transport back to Earth as this dense physical matter that we're we're all viewing through the camera right now. And
What do you oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
period.
uh, sorry. My sister's texting about corn dogs for the kids.
Oh, we just
Sorry.
bought two packs of corn dogs.
What?
Yeah, we just ordered 2 packs from Amazon.
No way.
Way.
I really apologize. It's breaking news. What do you feel if you feel that perhaps if you enter the sphere that you will not come back for all these reasons, is that what you perceive death to be, or what do you think happens after we leave our body?
I,
If
well,
you feel comfortable saying, I know that's personal.
the, well, the definition of death is actually in the midst of being redefined right now.
Oh,
Uh,
cool. No way.
way.
Cool. Tell me everything about that, please. I am very interested in hearing what you are about to say.
And it depends on the environment. Okay, so uh, an EMT, when they encounter someone, they check for a pulse and they check for a heartbeat. If there's neither one of those, they call the time of death is when they detect it.
Have you had an NDE?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Am I not supposed to ask that?
Well, it was a little worse than that.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I'm sorry. Please continue.
yeah. Um, it involved a resuscitation, so it was really traumatic, and it took years to recover from it.
I'm
I
sorry.
I believe I adequately have recovered from it. Um, I didn't have the typical experience though. I didn't. There was no light or anything. There's no tunnel.
Was
It
it a
was
negative experience?
it was nothingness, complete nothingness until I was awoken um, 9 days later
Oh my goodness.
in a stroke ward, and I was hooked up to a lot of machinery, a lot of to sustain my physical body to see if I would actually recover or awaken or whatever would happen. Ironically, um, they they didn't have the side rails pulled up on the side of my hospital bed. So when my eyes opened slightly and I looked around and I could hear people moaning rather, and I looked and it was mainly like geriatrics. It was, elderly folks. And I I was wondering how I got there because there was a gap in time. And I tried to move my body and I fell right out of the hospital bed on the floor, pulling down uh, all the gear that I was connected to,
Oh, I'm so
um,
sorry.
the IV poles, breathing apparatus. It all just came crashing down. And then they came and they resituated me. But then it took about 7 years of recovery after that.
Wow.
The only
So
upside to it,
sorry.
it
Yeah.
it prepared me for what happened with my own wife.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm so many years of your life have been both of you spent learning this very extreme thing. I'm so sorry, but I'm so happy for you that you're better, and it seems like she's doing much better as well.
um, I guess it depends on point of view. It
Okay.
When things happen that you may or may not have control over, then it, in my case, I didn't want it to define who I was, but
Yeah.
I gained real deep insight. Um, and then as memories started to come back, I was beginning to doubt some of these memories. I didn't know if it was how I was, uh, i- if my memory was somehow being affected because of gaps, and so that I was filling the gaps.
Yeah.
Um, but I was projected through the windshield of the car that I was in that was in a high speed crash.
Oh my
And
goodness.
but when I would look at photos of the car, I could see my impact, and I see that I busted open the windshield with my head. So I don't think I actually exited the car, but in my memory, when I looked back, I saw my injured self in the car, and I was I don't know how to measure it at this point in time, but maybe 15 feet in front of it, and I saw myself, and I saw the unconscious driver, and the telephone poles were knocked down, power lines were down, street lights were out. It even my brother's alarm clock failed to go off because he had it plugged into the wall and power was turned off to the entire neighborhood. But
Oh
he
my
didn't know that
goodness.
it was me.
How
That
old were you?
I was 18 when this happened.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yeah, that's the part I wish wouldn't have happened because at 18, uh, the frontal lobe, decision making and emotion is not really fully developed. So I believe it took me longer to perhaps make proper decisions. Um, you know,
Well, I hate to break it to you, but I didn't make any smart decisions till I was 30. So you're way off, I don't feel, please, it makes me feel horrible to think that you might feel bad about any decisions you've ever made. It's all to learn, it's all to expand, help each other grow, and move
Bonnie, you
on
look like
together.
you're like 22. How are you 30?
I'm super I don't know, thanks for saying that. Maybe it's
Good
just
genes.
yeah, maybe, yeah, or you're just being nice in your mind to
No,
me.
I'm not. I thought you were like, I don't know, it's what's after or before a millennial, somewhere in there.
I mean, I think millennials, I think that includes people born in the 80s. I think
It does?
yeah,
Oh, I
which
thought it
is
was
weird.
people born after 2000 or something.
I know, it's
I don't
weird.
know.
Those
It's
are
something different.
those are like, it's different, but thank you, I appreciate that,
No,
that's
you're
very kind.
welcome.
Well, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think um uh everyone has experiences, and you know and I don't want you to feel bad about yours, or think that your mind would have grown in any other way, had any other different thing happen. That's not what happened on this timeline, and this is the timeline you're on. So please be happy, or please.
actually, this is the first time I've shared this publicly.
Oh,
So, so
well,
you know,
thank
I
you for
haven't
sharing.
I haven't gone into details of this because, especially with the shows that I have been associated with,
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
people to think that this is fabrication on my part because of you know um, TBI, traumatic brain injury. So
Oh.
I don't want to that to be mistaken. As a matter of fact, there's research that indicates almost the opposite can happen, and this is when they are rehabilitating war veterans that have BTI, and they find that when they start to form a new synaptic connections, so they can regain motor and sensory control, uh, that they form an abundance of new synapses exceeding what originally is there. So I like to believe that maybe that was the end result, as long as it took that.
Yeah. I
maybe.
like to believe that too. I'm I like to believe that too. I think our whole life, our whole time being a body, this time that we do this, um, is all an experience. And for me personally, I got in a car accident, very different situation, and had a concussion, and uh, being still for 6 months just because I couldn't move my head because it feels like your brain's hitting your head when you know uh I feel like it allowed me to that's when I found spirituality, not in the sense of like angels and stuff like that, but it made me start to really consider things and see things in different ways, and be more become more sensitive, and become psychic, to be honest, and lots of other things that were not possible before because I hadn't been confronted with my body before I had that injury. And I don't know if that sounds stupid to you, but I wanted to
No,
share that.
there's nothing you've said that sounds stupid, Bonnie. You're obviously very bright. Um, there's a bit of irony that you shared some time ago with me. Um, Death Valley Girls is a name based on a location, Death Valley. And you said, gee, people can misconstrue this because they think death. It's like a fixation on death. In my case, I do have a bit of a fixation on death because of, uh, as I mentioned before, the definition of death
Oh
is
yeah,
different.
it's changing.
Yeah.
Do tell.
Oh
Do
yeah.
tell, please.
Oh yeah. I'm so sorry. I got
No,
sidetracked.
I love your story and I appreciate you sharing. And also, if you do choose to not want that to be shared, that's a choice too. We can edit it out. Anything to make you feel comfortable.
Oh no,
Um,
no, no. No, that doesn't affect me personally in any way. It's just the way the medical profession is moving. The the uh, lack of a pulse, lack of detecting any sort of breathing, um, is being replaced when a patient is moved into a clinical environment. Say they haven't died in the
okay,
field, and they're in a
interesting.
clinical environment. Their heart can stop, their breathing can be stopped, but they will attach electroencephalograms, and they'll still see brain activity. Um, and apparently, and this is kind of like a um, I don't I, I can't relate to it exactly, but uh, they're saying studies show that a person who has died in the pre-traditional sense, no heartbeat, no breathing, but the brain is still firing neurons, that they are aware that they are dead, that they know that they've died, and that time is fairly brief. It's only a few minutes,
Oh
and
wow,
yeah,
God,
and
that's
and if they can revive them, if they can reestablish a heartbeat, so they're not depending on life support systems, in many cases they can recite what was happening and what was even said
so.
around them.
Then technically, you're no longer dead if your heart stops and you stop breathing.
And if the patient is in a clinical environment, in a hospital environment, because even though there are extremely portable EEGs, the portable EEGs have a limited number of electrodes, and so you can't detect all areas of the brain that would show activity. So you may show flatlining in some regions and minor activity in other regions. What you most want to detect is the person able to perceive anything about their surroundings. They may not be able to move at all and react at all, but can they hear? Can they possibly see? Uh,
Wow.
are they trying to move? And but usually I would imagine they would accept this because they'd be. I mean, I wouldn't know, but perhaps there'd be no physical pain at that point. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just curious how it affects the NDE community. Um, if at all, you know, if technically, well, I guess it still is a near death experience, no matter how you want to mash it up. But I'm getting a strong, like, I'm curious. Sorry, I'm curious about your house, um, and such, because I'm feeling like I really want to know.
Me,
Um,
John's house.
yeah. I'm just curious. Just due to an overwhelming amount of sensitivity I've been experiencing to different vibrations of things. I'm just really curious, because I have not. I'd like to hear your story. I'd like you to tell our listening audience your story. But and then I'd like to ask some questions, because I haven't been in a location um, with that type of feeling in quite some time. So I'd just like to hear it explained with words by a human type entity. Is that okay? Human
Yeah,
type entity?
that's fine. That's
Okay.
absolutely fine. Human type entity. I think I'm a human type entity.
Let's just call ourselves human type entities
All right,
for
I
now.
love that. Yeah, that works for me.
Okay.
I live in a house that uh let's see. I don't even know where to begin.
That's fair.
People before I even like the house is owned by John Makowski. And before I even knew him, he would have people over and they would sense things going on in this house. Anyway, through the years, things happened. At one point, I sensed things the very first time I came here. Eventually, I ended up living here. And one night in March of 1992, or actually one day, I guess, I was really sensing something strong. And I thought, I had a Polaroid camera my dad had given me for Christmas back east. I'm from Washington, D.C.
Cool.
And they were still filming the camera. I'd only taken a couple of shots from it. So I thought, you know what? The bathroom door opened by itself. And so I grabbed the camera and I took a picture. And then there was nothing on it. And I felt, okay, well, I didn't really expect anything. I went back and I closed the bathroom door, and I thought maybe it had been open the whole time. I don't know. It seemed like I saw it open. So I closed it. I went back. I was sitting it's a very small house. It's like a cabin in the woods. And the main living room, dining room, kitchen is all one giant room. And I was working on a project, a writing project at the dining room table. And all of a sudden the bathroom door opened again. And it like scrapes across the floor and hits the floor. It's not like it's a regular door. It's a cabin, and the door was made from a series of boards that were kind of nailed together. It's not like a regular door. And when I saw it, like I heard it and I looked up and saw it, and as it opened, I thought, okay, that's like an acknowledgement. So I grabbed the camera and I got up and I was actually shaking because I thought, oh my God, I saw it this time. And I was so nervous, I snapped a picture of the television set, like looking down at it, like I got trigger happy, I guess, and I just accidentally snapped a shot, and it was a top of a television set. And then I said, okay, this is ridiculous, just calm down. I lifted up the camera from the living room and I took a picture of the bathroom door. And then that's the first image we got. And it was a ghosty ghost. It was like a ghost with eyes and a screaming mouth and cloudy figure and everything. And at first, when I first glanced at it, it was scary because you're watching it and it's coming out like as it's developing, you see this
Oh, it's
image.
terrifying.
Yeah, it was. And then as it fully developed, I thought, okay, this is really stupid looking. Someone's pranking me, because it was too much of a scary looking ghost. It was too perfectly scary that I didn't think it was real. So,
Yeah.
there it is right there. Bill has it up there. And then So I took another picture, and then I can't remember. I think I took 3 pictures or 4 pictures, and each time something different was on them. So when Mikowski got home, I said, I have something to show you. What do you think of this? And I showed him the pictures, and he's going, oh my God, this is really cool. How'd you do this? I said, I don't know. I put the camera and aimed it there. And he goes, well, you go over there and stand there. So I did. And he took a picture of me, and we got something. And then it's like, that started this whole thing for about 3 months of us taking pictures of the bathroom door, the living room, and trying to figure out when we could sense something and when something was showing up. And film was really expensive. It was $1 a picture. And so initially I thought it was my dad was pranking me. He'd done something to the camera, to the film from back east. But then a few weeks later, we got another roll of film, and we started getting more of this ectoplasmic light things. And finally, after about 3 months of this, we thought, we probably should tell somebody about it, because it's just the 2 of us. We didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
We invited over some friends. And we said, I know this is weird, but we have something to show you. And so we're showing it to them and everything. At that point, my whole belief in ghosts, which was not solid, my belief was that any ghosts that exist are imprints on the land. They're not necessarily conscious things, they're just imprints. And so they play over and over again.
Right.
Like in a graveyard, when you see those videos of things sort of moving through, and yet it seems like every time they show them or somebody gets something recorded, it's the same movement, the same type of image. So while everyone's like marveling and curious and what's going on, one friend of ours said, is he here now? Just he. We don't know if it's a he or she, but just says, is he here now?
Yeah.
Someone said, well, let's see. And they grabbed the camera and took a picture. And I was standing there. In fact, I don't know if you have the picture there. Bill, you might have it. It's
oh, yeah,
the very first one.
Yeah.
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I'm standing there. In fact, you can see Mikowski's head in the bottom of the frame, and our next door neighbor, Heidi, is sort of off to the right. And so as the thing developed, we saw there was more of the ectoplasmic stuff. But then as we, no, not that one.
Uh-oh.
No, it's the one, the first word.
The first word.
Yeah. That was from the first night, that one he just showed.
Okay.
The one of,
Crazy.
Took multiple ones. And then we're looking at it, and then all of a sudden it started looking different than the prior photographs. And then we noticed it had a word. It said yes. It said YES. You have to really stare at it before you can actually see yes. Once you see it, you'll always see it. But if you don't know to look for it, it just looks like weird light ectoplasmic stuff or something.
Okay.
And then once we got that opened up a whole new can of worms, because that's something consciously responding to you. Right. So then it was like, there it is. That's the one that's, I think, is that the one?
Oh my God.
That's highlighted.
Crazy. It looks like the band Yes's logo. Kinda.
Oh, that's interesting. I never
You know what I mean? Like in a.
Yeah. I believe that one is highlighted to show the way it.
Far out. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's so.
Bill, is that the one that's sort of darkened so you can see the word?
Yeah, but unfortunately, when you point anything at a web camera, it like creates a mirror image.
I see it. No, it's not. It spells out yes.
But go to the one above it.
That's incredible.
The one above it. That's the photograph. That's the actual photograph. See how you can't quite tell?
No, but you still can. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can once you see it. Yeah.
It's crazy.
What page is that, Bill?
Look this is their logo. Can you? Oh wait.
Oh.
Shit.
Oh, it's not.
Look at that.
Oh, how interesting.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. It's very faint.
Look it.
That's the actual photo. And
yeah,
then
it is there.
Slide up to the one below it.
Oh my God. I have not.
This
is a new phenomenon.
Is the entire band Yes still alive?
Good question. This is a new situation. I've not heard this before. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. What a wonderful find. So so continue, please continue. This
Well,
is amazing. Thank you so
that
much, Bill, uh for connecting this reality to my mind.
I thought you would appreciate John's experience.
Yeah, thank you, John, for sharing your experience with
oh,
uh
you're very welcome.
my human type entity. Please continue, because I've not this is new to me. This
Well,
is news to me as well.
once
Please
we
go on.
once we had that communication,
Yeah.
um,
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess nobody else can they can't see our words, and they can't see. So Bill just held up a book, um and the photograph, the first photograph was of like a ghost, like you would think like in a almost like an animation kind of just regular cartoon. And then in the next one, he how would you even describe that? It literally was like um as if fog was spelling out the word yes, I guess, is the best way to put it. Or instead of fog, yeah, fog.
yeah,
It looked like fog was spelling yes.
yeah.
That's wild. I've never seen or heard of anything like this. Please continue,
Well,
John.
Oh,
maybe I should mention first for those that might have interest, this is from a new book that Joe Augustyn wrote.
Okay,
He's a friend
sorry.
of John and mine's that back in the 90s, he actually stayed at the house with us for a while, like about 6 or 8 months. I don't actually remember how long. And I wasn't aware until years later that he had been taking copious notes of everything. Peter
Oh,
James would come over and visit the house, or we'd have like the Orange County Psychic Association, or we'd have
cool.
parapsychologists in trying to research what's going on.
So
And
do
he
you
wrote it all down.
so cool. What's the name, or can you tell us the name of the book
The
and where to
name of the
find
book
it?
is Ghostwriter, the Polaroid. What is it? The Polar. You have it there, Bill.
Yeah, Bill sent it to me.
Hold a second. Let me see.
it's
Uh,
again, it's backwards, but
It's
the
not backwards for some
oh,
reason.
it's not. Oh, it's just on my
Uh-uh.
screen. Okay,
Yeah.
I have it too.
the
Okay.
Polaroid ghost.
I have mine too. Look,
Oh,
everybody. Yeah,
oh,
okay.
Oh,
So,
good.
wow, this is incredible. I mean, it's really something else, everybody. Uh it's really something else. But so, okay, so um I haven't had time to read it. I am super impressed by the preface being by one of my favorite ufologists, Dan Aykroyd, and I'm so impressed that you did the forward, Bill.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, wow, this is far out. Yeah, I didn't get to really. I was just gonna do it like everyone else and find out all the details here, but now I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna read this all night. Although I'm a little bit anti-ghost these days, I'll be honest. But
anti-ghost. You mean you don't like them, or what does that mean? Anti-ghosts.
well, I'm trying. Yeah, I'm hoping you can rekindle my love for ghosts. No offense, ghosts. Um, but yeah, I just want to hear. Please tell me more. So
Well,
afterwards, you got yes,
yeah.
and
After we got yes, it sort of opened up like a Pandora's box, and everybody started asking questions.
and and they would visually be answered.
Yeah, you basically, it's like, I mean, you have to realize this went on for, well, actually quite a few years, but the initial thing was
Yeah.
trying to learn how to communicate. And we found that we even tried it with two Polaroids aimed at each other. In fact, there's examples of that in the book, and you see the
My
Polaroid
God.
from each camera. And
So it wasn't visible to your
no,
eye.
no. And the other thing is that like we learned too that depending on who's communicating, they can come over and they can just ask their question in their head and then take a picture and then they get an answer. And
Wow. What
there's
if
been a
this?
few close friends will like let them take 2 or 3 pictures. We put them in an envelope and then they open them later and then they go, oh my God, he answered that one and answered this one and whatever.
So
So
Oh my God. So okay, wow, that's incredible. So do you get the you get the feeling it's a male presence?
I don't know why. We've always thought it was a male presence, and we always thought his name was John, because John
More
Mikowski.
Johns?
Yeah, we think it's the reason he called himself Wright is because we think his name is John Wright, but we don't know that. But we just have always thought that because I'm John Huckert and John Mikowski lives here.
Yeah,
Um,
well you're probably, I mean, uh all information is in your mind. It's up to you to find it, you know. I'm sure you're right. Wow, cool. So
May I make a comment about that?
yes.
Okay, so John, at the Ghost Rider experience that we had at your place, there was that mother-daughter couple, and they did a they were analyzing these photos really well, and so they thought that this actually said Jake Wright,
Oh,
Jake Wright, and
yeah.
it's really hard to see.
Dude, there,
Um,
just so everyone knows, it looks like he's showing pictures from the book, and it looks like as if somebody um just like wrote with a smoke pen in the room. It's just, it's incredible. It's bizarre, and I've never seen anything like that. It's just somebody, it's visible only to Polaroid, which is amazing, because what if this happened now and you only had your digital phone camera? Maybe you wouldn't have found this out. But this is spelling. It's word spelling. Can I? Is it? Are the letters connected? Is it cursive? It's not, right? It's just straight up different letters spelled out. That is so crazy.
but in different languages,
yeah,
Oh,
it is
for
amazing.
real? So
Yeah,
for
do you?
real.
So, oh God, is that Latin?
Yes.
there's a lot of
Jesus,
Latin. Yeah.
that's terrifying. Do you think that this entity is in touch with other? I mean, it must be in touch with other spirits, uh, to
Yeah, I
be able
think,
to speak Latin.
well, I think there's been a lot of theories as to whether this person was alive or not before. Some people say
Right?
it's a guardian angel.
Yeah.
He says that he or she, but said that they were a victim of a murder. So,
Oh
and we don't know if that's true because, like Peter James used to swear on his reputation as a psychic that there's a dead body under the house, and we know exactly where it is. And every show that has come in here, including Bill's show, Fact or Faked, was trying to find out if there is indeed a body under the house. We've never been able to get to the exact spot where the body is, if it's there, if it is there. But the spirit
that's
doesn't seem like a victim. It seems like a muse, or it's very
that's awesome.
inspiring.
Have
Yeah.
you asked him if he is happy?
Um, that's interesting. Over the years, we have asked every question you can probably think of,
That's so
multiple times.
yeah.
And uh, he implies that he's there for either us or the house itself, like he's there to help us and to inspire us.
Aw.
But it's been like I don't get the sense he's unhappy at all. I get the sense that whatever he's doing it for us.
Will you
You know what I
tell
mean?
him I love him?
I will. The thing is interesting is that we don't
Sweet.
get Polaroids anymore. So the
Well,
communication is
since
different
when?
now.
Since when did it
Since they
stop?
stopped making Polaroids. Um, Actually, they stopped in 2004. They thought they made enough for like 10 years or something. And by 2008, they were already running out of them. And then the battery, because the battery is in the pack of film itself, it's not in the camera. The battery started dying out. Now the chemicals started drying out. And we've had, even as recently as just a few weeks ago, another show came in, which I'm not allowed to talk about, but
That's
they came
okay.
in with old film from like 2002.
Yeah.
And you got partial images, but for the most part, they're just blank because there's not enough, the chemicals have dried out.
Maybe he's tired.
Well, I don't think so. I think he
So he
communicates
seems like,
differently.
sorry, he seems more like a spirit guide, probably. If he, I mean, you choose. My belief is that you get to choose. I think some people get, or some entities get trapped, but I think for the most part, if you're talking to people and doing stuff like that, you're a guide, and you're not between places. You're right where you want to
Mm,
be.
mm.
But I'd be curious to uh, just have someone just talk to him, just to check in and make sure he's okay. I don't want him to be sad, and I don't want him to feel stuck. What if he, you know, I'm sorry.
Well,
None of my
no,
business. Also, it's your friend. Sorry to
well,
like
in
impose
all
my
the years
beliefs and
that
stuff.
we've communicated, which has been 29 years now, um, we've never got the sense he wasn't where he wanted to be. I've never got
Okay.
the feeling like he's desperately trying to move to another plane or something, whatever
Right.
happens.
So he
Um,
loves you
yeah, very much.
and
I
you
mean,
love
that's very
him.
clear. Yeah, and he's used the word love many times.
Oh my
There are
goodness.
thousands of photographs. We've only, in this book that Joe just did, we were so impressed with the book. In fact, that's why Bill wrote a foreword to it and Dan Aykroyd wrote a preface to it, because they thought it was significant. And John and I contributed a little over 150 photographs for it before only
Wow.
50 photographs had ever been released. So mostly no one will ever see any of these photographs. We're not, they're private and they're not meant to be made public, but some of them are. And the
Right.
original book, which was attributed to Peter James, was called Seeing Things. And that came out in 2008, right after, the whole purpose was just to honor Peter and all the things he did. Because he used to come over, he was a good friend of ours. After the sighting show in '92, we ended up becoming close to him. And he would come over periodically and just communicate with Wright. And it was an amazing thing to watch. But then when Joe's book, Joe's been working on an off for like 10 years. And finally, this last version just came out a few weeks ago, but we decided to reveal and show a lot more pictures. We also show the backs of them. We show them at different angles because there'll be one photograph and you look at it and it says one thing, and then you hold it up to a mirror and it says something else, and then you turn it upside down and hold it up to a mirror and it says something
Wow.
else.
What
So
an artist. Like the
yeah.
artistry and I want, like, I really want to, be friends with this guy. So his name is Wright. That's what he,
Mhm.
so he sounds so cool. What a creative and interesting individual. This is like really, really, really amazing. I'm just so thankful to both of you for this, just introducing this, and I'm so glad that you sent me the book beforehand, because I was like, I'm not gonna have time to read this.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have it after we finished this interview, I would be like really upset. So thank you, Bill. But so wow, so you have a personal relationship. This is really incredible. And is that the house where you are now?
Yeah, I'm in the
Okay.
Zen room,
Oh, cool.
which is actually separate from the house. It's a, but it's, the house is like right there. So
Right. Do you call him Mr. Right? It's funny. I
uh,
didn't
he's
mean
been
to
called
say that.
everything. It depends
Okay.
on, and a lot of like psychics tend to pick him up very quickly. And like if you have any psychic ability, or even if you're open to it, we've had like Bill did this thing called the Ghostwriter Experience, which I'll let him explain to you. But during that time, there was a number of people I'd never met, the majority of them before. Subsequently, I've become friends with several of them, but they each had different experiences, but there was a sense of well-being, of communication, of sensitivity. A number of things happen. And if you're psychic, then you would have a blast here. You would
Yeah,
really
no, I'm like,
enjoy it.
I would I would love more than anything to go there. I've not had since I became aware of what a haunted place or a place with ghosts feels like. I've not been anywhere that isn't overwhelmingly negative.
Mm.
So I've never been somewhere where it's positive.
Oh,
That
wow.
would be that would be my dream, because that's why I kind of stopped, or not stopped, but I get like I just came from somewhere that is haunted, and I get a lot in here, and like a lot in here, and just a general above here like cloudiness,
Hmm.
and just feels like it's in fog, and it's not like pleasant, and I was just like, why are you so into this? You don't like the way it physically feels, like you don't have to pursue this, but the idea that you have such a positive, and not heavy dynamic, I think is amazing. I would be honored to go there.
Well,
But
there's like a battery. It has positive and negative, and you hear mostly about the negative because,
yeah,
selling TV shows and crazy books and everything,
yeah,
but
well,
the
yeah,
positive, I think there's probably as many positive ones. We just don't hear about them, or most people don't share them,
yeah,
you know.
well, totally. I think it's just hard to identify. um there's so much different stuff going on. I mean, we're so limited in what we can see and hear and everything else, and I think it's scary. It's just, our brain, the way it works is just identifying what's here so that we can survive. But then when you start to get other layers, it's kind of like, that's not helping me survive. Like, that's
Yeah.
intellectual, and it's far out. But that's I'm this is amazing. I'm so happy to be learning this
Well,
information.
I
Thank
do
you
have
so
to
much.
say, oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I do have to say that there have been quite a few scary moments here, but it was
That's
mostly
fair.
early on trying to come to terms with it. And
Yeah.
the thing is that it's not, the Polaroids are the most demonstrative, but when you're here, there's a lot of other things that happen. And
Right.
one thing that is quite interesting is being embraced or touched in some way.
Oh my
And
goodness.
it's a real um, unique experience when you're staying there and you feel arms around you and you feel pressure, or you feel something like pushing you.
Because he wants
And
to give you a hug?
sometimes, I mean, we've there, the amount of touching goes on is is unusual. There's been people who, when they walk up the path, have been goosed,
I don't
and
know how. Yeah,
it's like you
that's
get
intense.
goosed, and you're like, and there's nothing within 50 feet of you, and it freaks you out at first, but then you realize there's humor going on here as well.
Right. Totally.
And
So
once you
you,
feel comfortable, it's okay. But initially, and you still like on a weekly basis, someone's embraced or touched or communicated with in some way, but we don't have the demonstrativeness of the Polaroid camera. And the
right.
new Polaroid cameras don't work at all. So
So do you feel, sorry, Bill, do you feel, I mean, it sounds, I mean, you're extraordinarily lucky. Uh, to me, it sounds like you were chosen. I mean, this is your life, and this is a gift. And sorry, my dog is trying to get down. Um, this is
Hi,
my dog.
doggy.
hmm.
uh, what
I
do you
I think
want?
I
What
think
do you
he's in
want?
your new Teletubby-esque video.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Tommy, go back there. See, this is a girl, but it's, I think ghosts and dogs, people just assume are boys. And let me put her down. What do you want,
That's
sweetie? There you go.
Um,
Oh, but
uh,
I mean, I guess I I experience, like, in my life, sorry, Tommy, but I'm gonna be alive longer. Like, my the dog's whole life is gonna be with me, but my whole life isn't with the dog. And it's like, you got right, like, for so much of your life, like not like a pet, but you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's completely changed your life. It's a huge part of your life. Do you feel so lucky? Sorry. Is that
Lucky.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if lucky is quite the right word. I do. I mean, I feel really good about it, but
That's fair. That's a
yeah,
completely fair amount to feel. It's none also, what
yeah.
is lucky? That's doesn't make sense.
Well, that implies I just like, I feel like it was supposed to happen or something.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
lucky implies that uh, I don't know. What do
I
you think?
understand. There are
Lucky you're,
implications. No, I understand. I just
yeah.
guess I feel like if I feel like it's obviously an extraordinary thing. Um and most people don't experience anything that like magical. And I just yeah, I guess it's just it's so special, and I just it's like this is my only opportunity to talk to you, so I'm just like want to know everything. But what, Bill, you were gonna say something. My dog is totally
Um,
freaking out.
well, um, first off, you mentioned I was lucky to have the friendship with John. That took years to build that trust and then to expand upon it. So it wasn't like instantaneous. Whereas with DVG, I was able to relate to you guys right away, and then you reached out at a time when I was really vulnerable and
Sorry.
and grief stricken, and so
Sorry.
your timing um, allowed us to sort of bond and create an inseparable friendship, and I really am grateful for that, very much so. And you were the right person. uh,
Thanks.
John and the other residents of the house, it's a long-term friendship. We're all very close. The trust flows, um, between everybody in the house. I would do anything for each of you. If you ever asked for any kind of favor, like consider me an airport friend, if you know that term, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
okay. Now there's something you said, and I would like to be able to link two statements that you said, Bonnie. Um,
Uh-oh.
at the beginning of the call, um, you didn't embrace the notion of ghost. So I'm paraphrasing. You said anti-ghost. So I'm saying you didn't embrace the notion. But then later on, just a few minutes ago, you said haunting. So what is your stance on what is happening at the Ghostwriter house? What is your opinion? Even though you're the host, if you don't mind me asking
Oh
you.
no, I'm here for this stuff. No, I just have spent the majority of my life interested in darker things, and the darker side of
Mhm,
the occult, and and just darker things, and the vibrational density and low vibrational of
mhm,
ghosts and entities that used to be earth dwelling. The physical feeling that they give me when I'm around them, I just was like, I don't like it, and I was like, oh, I can probably try and seek out higher vibrational entities, like
you
spirit
can.
guides. um
Yes, you
yeah,
can.
so that's why I was like, I'm anti-ghost, like and I'm not, that was a joke, but it's like I just didn't ever know before that there was let me put the dog out real quick, sorry, she's just like a real maniac. Hold on one second.
Hey, Bill,
Yeah. Hey,
how's it
All
going?
right, fellas.
it feels like it's going great.
Good.
She's a fantastic host.
Yeah.
Hi. So yeah, I just yeah, my interest is now in a different thing, but I feel like this comes from both angles. Is that I tend to be very black and white with my thinking. Is like all ghosts are bad, or all, so it's like now I know that that's um not necessarily true. And I'm not like I have different feelings than I've ever had before about poltergeist, about all these different things. So I'm in a learning phase of my paranormal life. But yeah, I guess I'm just bringing different people on to discuss their areas of expertise. But where I'm at now is that I know for certain that these things are real. I know for certain that everything is real to some extent, because if enough people believe it, then it is. And yeah, so I'm just here to learn. I'm not no agenda other than that. I just would prefer to spend more of my time interacting with higher dimensional, lighter beings than just going around trying to prove that there are ghosts to myself when I already believe there are, you know?
Yeah, and those more enlightened beings, as I mentioned previously, depend on their ego and how they lived their life as they were living. And also, entities don't have to have ever been earthbound. They can be conjured, and they can, we won't go into that, but that was a theory that I proposed to John Huckert and the other residents of the house, that perhaps it's the chemistry of the people in the house are somehow creating a conduit, almost like a thought form, uh,
Right.
that is able to, with their energy, able to become visualized through this odd chemical emulsion in a specific era of Polaroid's genesis. And that's why
Right.
you can't take them anymore. And so John wasn't on board with that originally. That they associated it with the house. I'm pretty torn because when we did Fact or Fate, and John was saying, no, this lot appears that it could have been like a neighborhood graveyard. And so one of John's and the other residents' requirements is that we bring ground penetrating radar. And when
Sorry.
that was you whistling?
Yeah, that's ground penetrating radar. Wow, that's so cool. Wait, Tommy. Hey. Sorry, go ahead. This is ridiculous. Okay, go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Ground penetrating radar.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah. But during the analysis of the ground under the house, so the house is like, here's a hill, and then here's the house, the floorboard.
Right.
So it's around this area where the back wall meets the hill is where it appears to be almost, I know it's a term overused, but like a portal, because
Right.
that's
Okay.
where you shoot the photos and images will appear.
Right.
Um, and
No,
so
why not? That
we
seems to be a simple answer, is that it's a portal.
so we tried to excavate, but we were
Yeah.
using garden tools, and
Okay. I'm
uh-oh, Bonnie,
still listening.
Bonnie goes away.
No, I'm still listening. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I just yeah, this dog is uh is a
It's excited.
it's yeah, it just really wants attention and so much stuff that I don't feel I'd prefer to give you my attention.
Oh,
Continue, please.
attention can be shared.
Okay, so you feel you feel there's a portal.
Well, because the images generally concentrate in that one area that you take uh, Polaroid photos for a particular generation of Polaroid film. Um, it That's how they identified it. And there's another way they identified it as well, which I will jump into, since you have a love of dogs, you may appreciate this. So
I do.
they um, during the ground penetrating radar, we we didn't have the proper tools. They always say the right tool for the right job. We had garden tools. And so
Right.
we were trying to excavate sideways, and then you have the floorboard and it's got nails poking down. And I had like a little, it looked like a cap that somebody who works on a railroad would have. It wasn't
Oh,
like a
cool.
helmet, just a little striped fabric thing and a jump
That's awesome.
and goggles and a mask for dust. But the nails, like I felt it rip through the fabric and rip the top of my scalp. Like,
Oh
so I knew I was going far too deep, but we kept trying. But with the ground penetrator, we flattened it enough so when we moved the detection device, which is like the size of a shoebox, really, and then it's cabled to a computer and monitors that were set up on the porch. As we moved it along, there was what it detects is a difference in density of the ground. and it detected maybe quite less than 6 foot, or maybe a little bit more, because I was underground and they were on top. And it detected this density that was about the width of a human and about the length of a human that was under there. Now, later, when that back wall of the house, so now we're fast forwarding, when they wanted to deepen the house, they knocked out that back wall. So now you had access to the area that we didn't have access to. And during the excavation, we found a stone that had markings and carvings on it, almost like a primitive tombstone or primitive cemetery markings. So I took tons of photographs of it. I photographed the whole thing. We called in a contractor so it could be done right with a backhoe and not destroy anything.
Cool.
And so we saw this. So it kind of confirmed what John was suspecting all along, that perhaps there are bodies buried under the house. Now I'm not suggesting that a spirit would linger around its corpse. That's not my saying. But what I am saying is that there was an approximate corpse size anomaly that was buried, and it was probably buried, I guess, 4.5 feet under the surface. Not like a 6-foot grave like you have in many places, because this was like an early settlement region of Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah, big secret. I know, your hometown, or your now hometown. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't say it.
Interesting. Very interesting. We can take that part out if you want.
No, because we're not revealing the address or the neighborhood in Los Angeles.
So that means I can go. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but okay, we don't have to talk about that now. But so wait, so I'm sorry, I just want to back up a little bit. Is your belief is that I can't remember your language, but that spirits don't linger around their bodies?
Well, no, I said I wasn't suggesting that a spirit would linger around its corpse unless there was maybe a specific reason why it wanted it to be discovered properly.
I'm of the belief that I don't understand why a spirit would hang out around its body unless there was, like, I don't think like ghosts hang out at graveyards. Like why? They weren't there that much. Why would they hang out there? They don't want, you know what I mean? It seems like a weird place to hang out. Or like it's fun, but
it is fun.
I don't think people hang out, or I don't think ghosts hang out with their bodies. I think that's probably, they're like psyched to not be in a body. Probably being in a body is like the worst place you could be, maybe. I don't know.
Unless there's something there that needs to be discovered as well. And so it's trying to lead them there.
Right. So, but that would be the exception, it wouldn't be normal, or it's not typical for spirits to linger around the body.
According to yours and mine mutual beliefs.
Yeah, that's all that I care about.
And then the other part I wanted to quickly address was, since we have little Tommy there, who's attracting a lot of attention. John, what was the name of your brown and white dog?
Freddie.
I'm so sorry, I forgot. I've heard it for years. But Freddie refused to walk in that spot where the images would appear.
Yeah.
So he would put a treat there, and Freddie would approach it and stop, and then just jump over it and never accept the treat.
Yeah.
So when they did the expansion of the house before the wall was put up, or actually before the expansion started, when we were just doing the excavation.
Yeah.
Freddie liked to fetch frisbees. So they would throw a frisbee in that spot on the other side of the wall where the portal was.
Yeah.
Freddie would go back there to try to retrieve it, but he would come back unable to adequately walk. He lost some locomotion, and he would crawl out. And then he could stand up once he was out of that space. So I witnessed that. I was there early enough, going back years, to see this for myself.
Oh That's
Yeah.
so sad. And he didn't
So if
he didn't
animals
have a
have another
choice.
sense, well,
Yes.
all organisms have different senses, different sensory organs and different functions than humans do, you know.
Yes, I think I've told you before about um um my experience with astral projection, or I don't even think it's that necessarily, but my experience with maybe like the Akashic record, I don't know, some experience that is beyond my understanding, always takes place next to this one portal at our where we record all our music. And the dogs that lived there, uh they had to close the portal because the dogs freaked out too much, one of the dogs, and so they had someone come and like close the portal. And then the dogs stopped freaking out. So I think dogs are super sensitive to it. That's why I have a dog. Is I'd be too scared to be alone without one, without a portal sensor, you know.
And uh you know, Akashic record, Gaia, you know, is sort of interchangeable terms. That's what I suspect that mercury, liquid mercury
Yeah, that's what
appearance
it
here
sounds like.
is. It's everything. It's the knowledge of all time, no matter what
Yeah.
time frame you're talking about. Because you know, when you look at even basic figures, I mean, physics, you realize time is truly an illusion. Like the further away you move from an object, the slower that object seems to move because it's relative. So even if people are waving at the same rate,
Yeah.
if you're traveling away from them, it takes the light reflecting off their hands longer to reach you. So it appears that they're slowing down. So they're actually not.
Yeah.
Um, but
That's cool.
but time is slowing down for the traveler. So,
Right.
you know, if you approach a speed of light and then you come back to Earth, unfortunately, centuries would pass. So you would still age for those minutes or seconds, but then you'd come back to a planet that would either be self-destroyed,
Yeah, I
unless man.
know.
Uh,
We
oh,
Yeah, we just wrote a song for something about vampires, and just having to dig into that for the past 2 weeks. The idea of living eternally really messed me up. I do not want to get bit by a vampire. Oh, like there, that would be the worst fate ever, to live eternally on a dying planet while everyone else ages. you know
ooh, a new
so
song. Sounds like a foothold on maybe a new release is gonna maybe happen.
it's it was a job, which is exciting. We got hired to do it, so it will come out. I don't know when, but I'll keep you posted. It's like a secret project, but we're going in the studio on May 15th to record.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I forgot that there was something that I forgot why I was here, to be honest. Just to put it perfectly is that I was just like, oh, yeah, I tried. I was like, oh, maybe I'm supposed to jog. Maybe I'm supposed to do this. Maybe I'm supposed to do that. But it's like, once we went in the studio and wrote that song and recorded, I was like, oh, yeah, like physically, I'm supposed to make music. Duh, you know? Yeah, I think I'm excited for you to hear it and see what you think. It definitely, I didn't get everything out with the last record. There's a lot more.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Under the spell of joy is it's not only is it on my computer, but it's on a thumb drive just in case something happens to the computer. So I
Thank
don't want to
you.
ever lose that.
No, well, I will always be here to provide you with a new one. Yeah, it's weird. It's like the more I learn, the more I realize why it makes sense. Before, I mean, yeah, that was just channeling, but
Yeah.
I wasn't in touch with it. But now I'm like, oh, that's cool. I hope I get to do that again. And then it happened on Saturday. Just channeling, didn't have the song before, just came out. I can't wait to do that again. It's so exhausting, but it feels so good and horrible. It's like I hate it so much, but I can't wait to do it again.
You'll be in your groove, I'm sure.
You know,
It-
one thing I haven't shared with you,
yeah.
I am also a songwriter.
Oh,
And
cool.
I've
No
written,
way.
well, I've written theme songs to some movies, and um,
No way. That's the coolest thing ever.
well,
That's
it's pretty cool. But something interesting that I haven't shared yet with anybody
what?
is that my songwriting partner died. We wrote songs together for 30 years, and he got sick and died within a month.
Oh no, I'm
And I
so
haven't been able to
sorry.
bring myself until recently to start writing again. And we had a song about this whole ghost experience, and it's called Seeing Things. And
So cool.
um, I'm finishing the song now, but it's like we wrote it together, even though he's been gone. So it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. And I'm hoping to get it recorded fairly soon. But it's going to be the first song back after that very difficult experience.
I'm so
Um,
sorry, but I'm so glad you're uh at the place where you're ready to do that, because this is your life.
yeah,
And
it's
if you're a songwriter, you gotta, the world needs to hear your songs.
well, I don't know about that, but
I know about that.
I
I
love I love what I do, but
That's so cool. That's what we just did. I'm super I That was my dream for that I was like wanted to manifest, was writing this very specific song for a project, and it's so funny that it um entirely manifested exactly the way it did. It's
I'd
like,
love to hear some of your music. I've never heard any of your
oh
music.
yeah, I can send it to you afterwards. It's also on
Okay,
the internet for free,
okay.
and on the internet where you can pay for it. Uh, uh,
Yeah,
but
that's always good
yeah,
too. Yeah.
but or I could send you your desired type of listening, like if you like CD, vinyl, cassette.
Vinyl, that's awesome. You have vinyl?
Yeah,
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah.
yeah, whatever way you like to listen, I can provide for you.
Okay, that's very nice.
As an energy exchange for this amazing experience. I'm so thankful to both of you for this. I really thank you, Bill. I was a little bit reluctant because I was like, it's not how it works. Like, it's not how it works. Like, I talked to one person about them. But I was like, well, Bill must know what he's doing. I'm just going to trust him. And you did. And I'm glad you knew what I didn't know and brought us all here. This is really, really, I'm so excited for people to hear this, and buy the book, or at least just look into this situation, and also maybe look at um, spirits differently and look at themselves differently. And I think it opens up more questions, which I think is really, really the most important thing um, of all.
Can I mention one more thing?
Please.
Just thinking about it, before I even met Phil, his name was Phil Settle. Before I met him, I've been a songwriter for many years, and he had done a demo with a songwriting partner of mine from back east, and he was moving out to LA. And right then there was a movie called Dead Heat with Joe Piscopo and Treat Williams.
Cool.
And a friend of mine was working on it. We got this idea to write a theme song. I had just started talking to Phil, and I'm like, I said, well, here's my idea for the song. And I started like doing some of the stuff over the phone.
Yeah.
So we were working on a song before I even met him. And three of us wrote the song, and it is now the theme song to the movie. So if you go on the internet and look up Dead
Cool.
Heat,
I'm gonna
you'll
write
get
that
to hear
down.
the song.
That's amazing. I'm so excited. Oh.
Yeah, it's just funny. It was called Dead Heat.
Yeah,
And
that
then all the
is.
stuff that happened subsequently. That was back in 88, I believe, 87, 88, something like that.
That's
But
so cool. So
anyway.
that's your job. You're a songwriter.
Oh, I do a lot of things. I'm also a filmmaker. I've made a lot of movies that most people have never
Oh,
seen.
that's what you're right. I'm
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Well,
Oh,
congratulations for
thank you so
making
much.
anything. People need stuff, you
Yeah.
know.
Hey, John, can you mention your website where people can get your book again?
Well,
Yes.
it's
Polaroid Ghost?
Ghost Polaroids, ghostpolaroids.com. I believe that's it. I think
I
that's
thought it
it.
was the opposite.
maybe, oh God, I don't, it's actually not my website, but it's where, or they can go, let's see, let me check on this. There's
Well,
probably a really easy way to get to it.
no, I think that this is a good
I
this
should
is a
know
good
this.
use of time, is to actually is just find out. Let's get answers.
Okay, let's see. Here it is right
The
here.
people need answers. And in the meantime, Bill, where can people where would you like to send people? Maybe that's better for you. Is there like a is there um is there a specific episode, movie, anything that you've been involved in that you would just be like, this is what I really want people to look at?
Oh, well, my shows are in constant syndication and reruns. Uh,
Is there one you feel most, or no?
th- the one that has the most compelling action on screen
Okay,
is Fact or Fake Paranormal Files.
cool.
Even though I covered John's case and on more than one network, one was their personal take on it, but on Fact or Fake, we wanted to test the theories that the naysayers were saying. Oh, they're doing this.
Right.
They're gluing cotton to plexiglass or something silly. And we tried all those laborious methods, and they failed horribly. Finally, I did what they do. I I asked a question and pointed the camera at that wall, or quote portal, and we got an image of more than one humanoid shape that were facing each other, and it had that same. You'll see in the book that sometimes there's like they look like birds or vine-like structures that encircle whatever else is in the room. And the ones, like if it's close to the lens, it'll be blurry, like it's out of focus, and as it moves away, they become clear. So it appears to be all encompassing in the room itself, this energy that is created. And then there's letters that sometimes forms, and then there's figures that sometimes form. Um, there's a female figure coming out of I don't think it's Freddie's food bowl, John, the dancing woman.
Oh, that was Grace. That was Grace, the
Grace.
St. Bernard. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a dancing woman, and
Yeah.
or it appears to be. So there could be Wright may have some company there. Uh,
That's nice.
yeah.
That makes
Um,
me feel good.
By the way, it is Ghost Polaroids, all one word,
Okay.
.com. So it's,
Ghostpolaroids.com
yeah, so it's,
for
you can
stuff to
see,
make your mind dance with joy.
you can see
Cool.
at least what's there.
Well, that's amazing. Anything else you would like to share with the world? I'm so thankful, but is there anything else you would like to share?
Hmm. Um, I have a film out on Blu-ray.
Oh, cool. What is it?
It's called, ironically speaking, The Passing, and
Whoa.
it's
I'll
about
write that down.
Can Love Survive Death? And it's a film I made many years ago, and I thought it was dead to the world, but this company called Vinegar Syndrome, it sort of became a cult film, and they
Cool.
decided to take all the existing elements because most of it was destroyed, and they sort of recreated the film, and it came out last year on Blu-ray. And
Congratulations.
yeah, it was kind of exciting because it's been getting a lot of amazing reviews.
Yeah.
Surprising to me in a film I thought was lost to the world, and now it's like it's discovering a whole new audience of people that weren't even born when it was made are now like discovering it. So that's kind of fun.
That's so cool. Well, maybe one day you might decide you want to make music videos. And
Oh,
if you
I've made
just
quite a few. In fact,
really
there's the last one Phil and I did together can be seen on YouTube. It's called Fire in the Hole.
cool.
So called Fire in the Hole, and then Phil Settle, and I directed the video and edited it. He wrote the
Cool.
song.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see that. Thank you, fellas, so much for coming here and being
Great.
open and honest and sharing important news.
Thank you for having us.
And Bonnie, I did post your Patreon link before the show. So those who wanted to see, visually have the
Right.
experience of the interview, that hopefully they would, quickly sign up and they get.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I will. I'm not certain. Well, we can say goodbye and then we could discuss behind the scenes
Oh,
details. No, I'm just. I mean, I just not. Live a little. But thank you, fellas, so very much for being here.
Absolutely.
And we will see you soon.
All right, take care. Thank you so
Bye.
much
so
for having
thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.